In the right, you're going in.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
It's a big day today. Thursday Night Live.
That's it. We love bringing it to you every week, but tonight's going to be kind of special.
So make sure that you tell us if you can hear us. We want to make sure there's no sound issues, make sure that everyone can see us. So let us know, give us some thumbs up and tell us if you can hear us okay. Let us know if there's any issues so that we can correct them right away.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try to find this in the group so I can make this an announcement. Generally, when you go right into the group, you can see a live at the top of it, but we want to make sure.
So let us know in the comments if you can hear us okay, if there's any issues. David's going to make this an announcement so that nobody has any issues finding it. I see some people popping on, so hello. Anne Marie says, sounds good. Janine says, hello. Okay, awesome. I love it.
Cool.
Good,
Good
yay.
to see you on, guys.
It's always nice when things just run smoothly, so excellent. So happy Thursday. It's, I want to do like a little happy dance. And I know in Canada, it's Canada Day. So happy Canada Day. I don't know what you say for happy Canada Day, but happy Canada Day to all the Canadians that are coming and hanging out with us tonight. For us, it's actually 4th of July on Sunday. So what better time for this group especially, but to talk about Independence Day. So, really, really excited to be able to celebrate with all of you Independence Day. And I want to let you know that we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We've got some really exciting things for you. And as you see, for those of you, if you missed out last week, by the way, we had a really great show last week. It was a girls only. We did a little ladies night last weekend, but the hubby is back. And now we're back to celebrate with all of you some independence. And funny how I brought David on to talk about independence. Like we're together and we're talking about independence. So I think that for a lot of people that are following us in this group, they're going to be interested to find out a little bit more about, hey, you're in a relationship, but there's independence? Like what's that all about? Because for me, that used to not be the case.
Well, yeah, obviously we're playing on the fact that the holiday's coming up. It's Independence Day. But while that might have been our kitschy little hook, the reality is that independence when it comes to relationships is probably different than most people have considered, and maybe a lot of you are familiar with. So we're going to kind of dig into that a little bit tonight and discuss why it's not only important, but something that can be sought and won and really change your life for the better, especially in relationships.
So tonight we have a really exciting show. We're going to actually bring on some amazing clients to share their story of overcoming and all the great things that they have done for, working with us and where they are right now in their lives, which is just, we always get teary-eyed just thinking about like how different their lives are. So this is going to go long. Our show is normally about an hour. This will definitely be more like, probably, it won't be more than an hour and a half. I promise I will keep my eye, make sure it's not more than an hour and a half. But here's the really cool thing that we have today. We're going to be sharing a limited opportunity for you to work with us. So if any of you have been on, what's the right word?
On the fence?
On the fence. I was going to say on the shelf. I was thinking Elf on the Shelf for some reason. If any of you have been on the fence thinking about whether or not you should join, this is a really great one to stay on for the entire time. And now here's the thing. We're actually going to have a little competition. Competition is fun, right?
It can be, yeah.
It can be when done right. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, the person who comments the most active person that comments the entire time is going to get my book and workbook for free. I'm going to send it to them.
And this is most engaged, by the way. Let's be fair, not spammy, okay? So let's not,
most engaged.
Right. So again, the point is we want to make sure that you're engaged, that you're leaning in, listening, taking notes, and getting value, because that's what we do. That's why we come here to you every week.
But here's the caveat. Here's the thing. The only way that you can win the book and the workbook is if you stay for the entire time. So if you stay for the entire time, you hang out with us for the full time, I promise you it will not be more than an hour and a half, but the person who actually interacts the most engaged is going to win the book, my book and workbook sent to you directly, but you got to be here the whole time. So for those of you who are committed to staying the whole time, just comment the word stay in the comments so that we know that you're going to be staying the entire time and you're going to be super active, because that's what we want to see. So do I see some stays? Do I see some stays? Oh, and someone said I was going to buy them tonight or this week. Nice. So it looks like that person is going to be staying for the entire time. I got a whole bunch of stays.
Okay, yeah.
Got a whole bunch of stays. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Laurel, Monica, good to see you. Christy, Donna, Robin, Jennifer. Okay, Miranda, nice. Good to see you guys all on. Some of you we're familiar with. We've been chatting a bit, but good to see everybody on tonight for sure.
Yeah, so let's get this party started. So there's a bunch of you that are going to stay on the entire time. So welcome, come and hang out with us. We're going to have a good time tonight. And so before we even get started, we're gonna share a whole bunch of really great information. If this is your first live, definitely make sure that you are taking notes. Take some notes. Really important to be prepared. I always say my pad and paper, but however you take notes, be prepared to take notes. We always give lots of nuggets for those people who come here every single Thursday. You know, if you're watching this as a replay, please still comment. Please still take notes and share your thoughts because we still want to hear them. But, you know, make sure that you're writing down your notes and, you know, buckle up because we got a lot of really great things to share. So before we do that, what I'm going to do is we have a really inspiring story from one of our current clients, Rachel. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little interview that we did with Rachel, just telling a little bit about her experience. And I think you guys are going to be really excited. Who is excited to have Rachel, to listen to Rachel come on and tell her story? Let's give her some likes and loves and get some excitement going on for Rachel, one of our amazing, wonderful clients. She happens to be a nurse. We have a lot of really great people that are in the medical field. And I don't know if you know anything, David was actually sick last year. We got to know some nurses and doctors pretty well. And we were so amazed at how giving they were. And we've also found that there's a lot of people in the medical field that are so giving, they don't have very good boundaries. And they need some of our extra support. So we did this great interview with Rachel. So we're going to share that with you now. So here you go. So we've known each other now for a few months. You know, you watched some of these lives and you decided to take action yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about what life was like for you before you joined the inner circle, before you started working with David and I?
Yeah. So how you guys were talking about, you know, moms being exhausted. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and really just, I felt hopeless. You know, I tried many things in the past and nothing actually seemed to stick. You know, I'm 43 now and I've been living in this world for my entire life. And I was really looking for something different. And you guys really offered, you know, a unique plan with both of you having this, you know, husband-wife team. And I thought, wow, she's been there, he's been there, now they're together. That's what I want. So that's really why I joined your team.
So what are the biggest results that you've had from working with us? Like if there was like some aha things, you know, some breakthroughs. I mean, I remember our first conversation and now we just had a conversation not that long ago about where you're at. What's been the biggest thing for you, the biggest like aha moments or the results so far for you?
So one of the other things I wanted to mention about the uniqueness, which is tied into my aha moment, is so with Stephanie and the modules, that kind of takes you to a place where you figure out what it is you need. Okay, so I figured out that I didn't value myself. I figured out that I didn't feel worthy of love. And that's why I accepted breadcrumbs. I accepted abuse. You know, I stayed with somebody who had cheated on me and who then continued to cheat on me. And so Stephanie really helped me identify all of those issues and then where they came from. I mean, you do a lot of work on yourself, you know, from childhood with all the different modules. You really look deep into yourself. And then with David, you know, he did this Psych K session with me that just, I mean, blew my mind. I mean, honestly, that's how it's magic. I don't know how it works, but it's amazing. Nice. And so my statement to myself was that I have unconditional value. And so with this Psych K magic, I came out of that session with David knowing that I had unconditional value, and I have not questioned it since then. I mean, everywhere I go, I'm just like, no, I have value. I'm not going to settle for that. You know, I was even able to tell my soon to be ex-husband on a phone call that I know that I have value now, and I have self-esteem, and I have self-respect, and that I just can't be with you, you know, ever again. It felt great. So I would say those definitely were some huge aha moments. And that's why the two of you together work perfectly. So
what are you the most excited about moving forward? Because now that you're able to actually like stand your ground and say those things, because you know, the Rachel that I met when you first came on, you would have been afraid to say any of those things to your ex-husband.
Yeah.
You were kind of walking on eggshells. Yeah.
Yes,
So like, what are you the
yes.
most excited about moving forward?
So I think just knowing how to set boundaries, and, you know, boundaries, I was thinking about as you guys were just talking about boundaries, and, you know, I had my toilet fixed recently. And this sounds kind of silly, but it's one now, it was leaking, you know how it runs. And so I had a friend fix it, but I noticed after it was fixed, you had to hold the handle down to get it to actually flush. Now, the old Rachel would have just been like, oh, it's, you know, they already did so much work on this. I don't want to speak up. I don't want to tell them that, you know, I can't flush the toilet now. But then it didn't even dawn on me. I was just like, oh, hey, you know, is there any way to fix this? This just isn't really meeting my needs. I know I'm just going to walk off and not flush it. And so, yeah, it's just like simple things like that. Before, I would have never spoke up, and life is so much happier because guess what? My toilet flushes and it's great, you know, right?
That's helpful.
Yeah. So things like that. And then also just, I'm not exhausted. I have lots of energy now, and I go paddle boarding, snorkeling. You know, Stephanie helped me in the modules reach out to people, start a Facebook group of my own, you know, go hiking with people. So I have a life now. My toddler just got home, so.
And that's perfect as a mom. So
yes,
works.
Mommy, auntie.
Oh, say
Well,
hi.
that's so great too, because it shows how these shifts come through in everyday things. You know,
Yeah,
how
yes.
our mindset is reflected in everything that we think, feel, and act on. So that's great, and it really is the little things that I think that make a big difference.
So what would you tell anyone that is on the fence about joining? Like, what would be the things that you think are just important for people to know?
I think the most important thing is that this has worked for me. Nothing else. And I've tried everything. I mean, I have a therapist. I've tried, you know, 12-step programs. I've tried everything and nothing has worked. I've read so many books, and this, if you are actually willing to change, of course, you have to have that willingness to transform. This will work for you 100%. And you will come out on the other end just a better human being for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for everyone. And it really, really is worth it. And I love you guys. I love everybody on the group too. It's just really wonderful. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. Yeah, it's wonderful to have you as well. And as you know, there's very little that's more gratifying to us than to see the transformations in ways that really make a difference in people's lives.
So thank you so much. We're going to, everyone give a. So what did you guys think? Let's give a round of applause for Rachel.
She's awesome. That's a great story. And you know, a lot of times you might think, oh, well, their results can't be typical. And of course, you know, she said it herself, you got to be willing to step up to the plate and follow the guidance, use the support and the tools that we give to you. You know what I mean? This isn't a situation where we wave a magic wand and suddenly, you know, you're more confident, happy, peaceful, better relationships. But the thing is, if you're willing to do the work, the results speak for themselves. And I'm excited because we've got a few more inside scoops to share with you tonight as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I saw this, and this seems to be a thing that I've noticed lately, is that I saw on one of the comments that I think it was Danielle said fear of failing at this too, and that's, I mean, heck, that's a thing, right? You're not the only person who thinks that. That's you know, Rachel was afraid of failing. The other people that are coming on, they were afraid of failing, but their fear of failing themselves in their future life was more important than, oh, I might not do well at this. They had such a strong desire to make a difference for themselves, to change, that even though there might have been a little bit of, well, what if this doesn't work? The other part of it was, what if it does? Like, what if it does? And if it does, I'm opening up the possibility to an entire new life, something I could never imagine. But you know what does fail is wanting to do something and doing nothing. That's failing, more so than trying and then not succeeding in what you want.
Yeah, it's true. And we see it all the time that people change when they get leverage on themselves to change. A lot of you, I bet, have been thinking about making the changes that you know you need to make, the ones we talk about, for a long time. But we found it's very true that a person will change when they must change. And sure, that initial step, embracing the unknown, facing your fear, now it's uncomfortable. Let's face it, when you're going to change, you know, and we're talking about transformation, doing something radically different, your subconscious mind that wants to keep things predictable is going to rail against that. It's going to serve you up all those excuses that you're very familiar with by now in order to try to get you to keep from changing. But you know, something's interesting. When you decide, when you commit to something, and decision really means cutting off all other possibilities, the universe will conspire to support you. And granted, that first step may take a little bit of faith, but I can tell you from my own experience, taking that step, having the faith, and taking a calculated risk, using good judgment, but doing something that maybe feels uncomfortable, starting down a new path, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, so Carolyn, who's one of our clients, chimed in and said, I have tried everything and thought I had the willingness, from one-on-one counseling to hypnosis. I feel I've gotten more in the last few weeks than in all the years I've contributed to everything else.
Yeah, and Carolyn, I know you had a follow-up after our Psyche session with Stephanie, and she shared with me a little bit about just the dramatic transformation to be relieved of decades worth of guilt and you know, in one session. And again, we see those sort of things all the time, and that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about this, because I've been in and out of therapy for years, been on medication, was suicidally depressed for decades. And once I found the information and tools to make a real difference, it occurred to me that life doesn't have to be a struggle. It's just about getting the right support, information, and you know, and being smart about it. And now it's almost like my old life is just a dream or a memory or someone else's life.
And you know, Jane says out of comfort zones are hard. Yeah, that's why you hire us. Out of comfort zone is hard, but what's even harder is staying where you are. If I would have stayed where I was in toxic relationships, and so like, and this really kind of transitions really well into this next segment, because why is it that we do what we do? Because we were where you are. I felt like I was independent. I felt I had that independence, but I was stuck in these toxic relationships. I kept attracting the same people. I was successful in my job. I was a teacher. I was getting teacher of the month. One of my superiors wanted me to go up and become like the head teacher. And then they wanted me to be like, there was more and more things they wanted me to go up in. And I was like, nah, I'm just really I'm not feeling it. I just want to stay teaching, you know, but at home, I was going home and things were terrible. I had this life on the outside. My job was great. I had some good friends. I had all the outside, all good. But I would go home and I wouldn't know if I was going to be screamed at, cursed at, threatened. I didn't know if I was going to get in trouble for saying something wrong. I didn't know if I was going to have 2 weeks of silent treatment. I didn't know if I was going to, you know, be spit on, because that happened more than a few times. I didn't know if my husband at the time was going to nod out because I'd taken too many pills, because I was watching him. I didn't know if I was going to get yelled at that I wasn't doing enough when I was the one dealing with all the major bills in the house. That was failing. I was trying so hard to succeed at something that was not meant to be successful. I was trying to fit that square peg in the round hole, and I was forcing it in. I was trying so hard to get it in there that it was happening. I can't say it was working. And I was going home and I was feeling depressed. And I was starting to have health issues. My back would hurt all the time. I would get migraines. I had bursitis. I mean, I had a list of things. I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I had Raynaud's, like all of these things that they were like, oh, well, it runs in the family and those things are possible and you hurt your back and whatever. But I was 34 years old at that time in this toxic relationship, or before, because I got a divorce at 34. But all these things were happening. All these health issues were coming up. And I was stressed. And it was stressful pretending to be okay in front of everybody else and then go home to my own version of hell. That was stressful. And I can tell you at 43, I don't have any of those health issues. So it wasn't age. It was stress. I was working out 6 days a week. I was eating healthy. I was doing all the things, but I was going home to deal with someone who was taking my energy away before I could ever even think to use it. I could have never done all the things that I do now. And I would have never thought in a million years, just like a lot of you, that I could get to this space. And so I get it. I was there. I get remembering like, oh my God, those people can have healthy relationships, but I sure can't. Healthy relationships are not meant for someone like me. I'm too screwed up. I'm too old. It's not possible for me. I might as well just deal with this person. I might as well try to make it work. It's scary out there. There's no good guys. All of those things that probably a lot of you are thinking was going through my mind. As a successful, independent woman, I thought there wasn't any guy that was going to be able to come up to my level. So I settled. And I tried to force the people that I was settling for to work with me. And instead, all they did was bring me down.
So settling doesn't really jive with the idea of independence, does it?
No. Strong, independent lady and settling doesn't work well together.
Yeah. And for a lot of you who are stuck in that contradiction, you're probably feeling a lot of mental and emotional distress. I call it cognitive dissonance, but it's more than just, a contradiction in thought. That'll eat away at you over time. And I bet a lot of you feel that too.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want to be? Like, where are you now? And be real honest. Are you living the fulfilled life? Are you doing the great things that you would like to do? Are you living in congruence with what you're trying, what you want other people to see of you? Are you living in what feels like it should be really of you? Like, yeah, there might be fear, there all those things, but is this what you have right now the best you can really do? And think about that for a second. Is there something more for you? What is that? People will say like, okay, well, what do you want in a relationship? I want to be happy. And a lot of times I say to someone, what does happiness mean? I don't know. And they tell me all the things they don't want. And I use this example today. If you're driving a car and you slam on your brakes and you see this telephone pole right in front of you, what do they tell you to do? Do they tell you to stare at the telephone pole? No. Because the more you stare at that telephone pole, the greater the chance of you hitting that telephone pole. What they tell you to do is look in the direction you want to go, whether it's you're driving or you're riding your bike or whatever it is, look in the direction you want to go. But what a lot of you are doing is you're looking at the direction you don't want to go. You're telling me all of the things that you don't want in a relationship. I don't want someone to treat me badly. I don't want someone who's a drug addict. I don't want someone who treats me badly. All of the things they don't want. But then they don't live in alignment with that, because then what are they going home to? Someone who's not their best friend, someone who they don't get inspired by, someone who they don't get to just enjoy life with. And they're all of those things they say they don't want. So they feel uncomfortable because they know that's not what they want. And then to take that a little bit further, some people aren't even sure what they want because they're so used to living in this survival mode instead of thriving mode. So knowing some people have never been happy to an extent of like, oh, I can really create the life that I want. Some of you might not even really know what that is because you've been so busy doing the things that you don't know how to create. And I see a guilty over there. Probably not the only person.
Yeah, and look, a big part of this is that you've got what's been called stinking thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't inspiring you to think outside the box, to try new things, to have, new, more positive influences in your life. You want to know a big reason why your life hasn't been working out? There's a key insight that I gained, and it says, you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Imagine if you are as powerful as we suggest, then you better mind your thoughts. Now, our brains don't come with an owner's manual. Am I right? I struggled for a long time, especially through the worst of it. I thought I was smarter than I really was, and I've been called a smart guy, but the question for me is like, well, how's that working out for you? Like, how is your life working out? And it wasn't working out. And again, the point is if you're focusing on the negative things, you're going to get more of that. So a really big part of this is learning how to break the cycles of conditioned thinking. Most of us are at this point, we're sort of like robots. We're kind of going through our lives on autopilot. Every once in a while, the conscious mind says, oh yeah, I want something better. I want something different. And then the moment that part of us gets distracted, well, the subconscious programming comes back in. Oh, you're not worth it. You've never succeeded at love. You're a piece of crap. You're destined to be this way. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So a big part of what we teach and coach and actually give you the support and tools to change is your habits of conditioned thinking. And what's so amazing to me is how quickly things can change once you learn not just what to think, but how to think more effectively. It's about leveling up your mindset. And ladies and gentlemen, it makes all the difference in the world. And you've already heard from Rachel, and she shared to me is some pretty striking testimony of how, even after one mindset change session, she's looking at things in a completely new way. And most importantly, feeling better, right? Because let's face it, if knowing what to do, if insight was sufficient to make change,
everybody would be living their best lives.
Yeah. I mean,
I had a degree in psychology. I was a certified crisis counselor when I was in toxic relationships. So I was literally helping save people's lives when they were suicidal on the phone. I was calling the police and having them taken care of.
Meanwhile,
but when it came to myself, because I thought I could. A lot of us were on fire and drowning, and we're like, I'm fine. I don't need help, because we're afraid to ask for help. I saw a comment on here. Jen said, I'm scared to ask for what I want because I was taught to sacrifice. I don't want to be seen as selfish. Jen, girlfriend, ask for what you want. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't take care of yourself, then the people around you will suffer as well. And hold on, if someone doesn't like what you're asking for, you need to look at whether or not that's a really actually healthy relationship. Because if I'm telling David something that I need, he's going to damn well listen. And not because I'm strict about it, but because that's what we do for each other. If you listen to each other's needs and you support each other, that's what you do. If you're in a relationship and you're afraid to say what you need, like I literally tell David everything. There is nothing that is off the table. Like everything can be talked about. And because of that comfort level, because of how that is, we talk about anything and everything. So if you're afraid to say what you need because you're afraid they're going to disappear, maybe they need to. Maybe this relationship is not one that is supportive of the best version of yourself. You should be able to, in a healthy relationship, talk to them.
And let me just offer a little insight here. The key to this, by the way, is not just doing the things. And let me be really clear, because this is a huge part of what we teach and what we share, particularly with the tools. This is not about reading another book and learning the words to say, I'm not going to take it anymore. What we're talking about, and this to me is the difference between change and transformation, okay? Change is like, okay, I'll read a book and I'll learn what to say to stand my ground, okay? But even hearing that, doesn't it kind of give you the impression that like, oh, but those negative feelings, that dysfunction on the inside, it's still there, it's still eating, I feel uncomfortable. Well, what we're talking about is not just doing things differently. We're talking about quite literally becoming a different person. And this is part of what's so powerful about our approach, because it's not just getting the insight and the information, getting the education, like a college level understanding and education on what it takes to be healthy with relationships, with yourself, with other people. But we're talking about mindset change. We're talking about literally the ability to change your personality, who you are at a fundamental level. Okay, so Jen, you know, these things that you're talking about here, it's not just about you know, because you can understand the concepts, right? I should want more for myself. I should be kinder to myself. I should, you know, create and enforce healthy boundaries. That's all well and good, but what we propose and what we support you in doing is becoming a person who behaves that way naturally. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't need to be a struggle. Right now, your knee-jerk reactions are unhealthy. Can we admit that? Mm-hmm. What comes naturally to you right now is unhealthy. And that's exactly why you've been experiencing this cycle, right? Same type of relationship, you know, different face, but same type of struggles throughout your lives, throughout different relationships. When you become a different person, a person who has an elevated mindset, you'll still have challenges in life, but you'll leapfrog over them. It's a huge difference. And that's what makes the difference. And you'll see more of this testimony. It's not just, oh, I got some good ideas on how to live my life better. No, it's I became a person who doesn't have the problems that I used to have. Mm-hmm. That's a fundamental difference. And you know it because you feel it viscerally. I mean, just hearing Rachel talk about how she was able to speak frankly to her soon-to-be ex and assert herself and feel comfortable and confident about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is priceless.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I think Monica said she's afraid to ask for help. And again, this is what all of our clients come to us with. They're afraid to ask for help. And then when they realize what I'm doing isn't working, I need to finally ask for help. I mean, we go to school to get degrees to learn stuff that we don't know how to do, right? I got a double master's degree in health and education. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff before I got my master's degree. I didn't learn healthy relationships at home. I didn't learn that. I didn't see healthy. So then I was expecting to create a healthy relationship, never having the tools or the support to learn that to begin with. And then I'm afraid to ask for help because I'm afraid to what?
You know, and I wonder about that too, right? The fear of asking for help. You know,
well, it's a trauma response. Well, we know why people do that, but think about it really from an intellectual level. People get doctorates in things, and we don't even have an elementary school education when it comes to healthy relationships. I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen who are on. So you know, there's a lot of really great things. Oh, and somebody asked about how you create that change. Well, working with us, actually part of our program that makes us so, you know, different is we are that husband and wife team. And David does something called Psych K, which will help that high-speed mindset change, that change at the subconscious level. And then with my experience and my background, we actually give curriculum and assignments for you to do throughout the program. We'll talk more about it, but that's basically a quickie version of it. So what I want everyone to do right now is I want you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. So sit up straight, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Let's ready, go. In through your nose, hold it, out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, hold it, breathe out through your mouth. One more time, breathe in through your nose, hold it, and breathe out all that excess energy, the negative emotions, negative thoughts, breathe it all out. Keep going till you feel it just totally comes out of your body. And one more time, deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and breathe out. I'd like you to keep your eyes closed. And I want you to really start picturing what a happy life could possibly look like for you. Like I said, a lot of people can't picture this. So right now in this moment, I want you to imagine a life filled with connection and peace. Keep those eyes closed. Keep listening to my voice. Imagine your life with freedom and joy, abundance, health, full, complete health, connection, love without drama and stress, increased self-esteem, being able to take action on things that you need to do, even if it feels a little uncomfortable. You do the right thing for yourself and your family. You look forward to life. You're excited to wake up every day, the adventure that is coming to you. You're able to attract healthy relationships, full wellness, healthy boundaries, people that support you, people that want you to reach for your dreams and inspire you. Having a best friend that you're in a relationship with. Have the freedom at home, the independence to be you, and the support to bring you to places you could never have imagined going totally by yourself. Being able to walk into the job and get that big promotion that you might have been afraid to ask for. Creating the money that you need, the energy that you need. Speaking from a place of your heart, assertively, not worrying that people are going to run away from you, but they're going to embrace you for who you are because you've shown them the real you. Imagine waking up every day with that unshakable self-esteem, the beautiful gratitude, and the feeling comfortable in your own skin. Keep your eyes closed. Really imagine that for yourself. I want you to take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Let it back out. And slowly open your eyes. And now when you talk about what a healthy relationship is, that's what I want to come up in your mind. Are there any thoughts about what the little exercise we just did? Was anyone able to really visualize that? Because like I said earlier, if we can visualize it, we can create it. If we know the direction we're going to, and we can help you figure that out. What direction, what steps do I need to do to get all of those things? But imagine, you got to know those things. You got to be able to kind of see the direction you're going. So that the distance from here to there is not as far as it seems. It's just knowing the right steps. Like, what do I have to do to get to that place of that peace and that fulfillment and all of that? Feel free to write down your thoughts about that little exercise. And if you could really put yourself there and imagine. And if some of you have maybe never felt that before, how that felt to imagine that. So as you're writing your responses to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on another amazing guest. We have someone that we did an interview with. Her name is Terry. She worked with us actually a few years ago. And so it's been a few years. We haven't worked together in a few years. And Terry is doing some amazing work. So I'd like to have a round of applause, some likes and loves for our girl, Terry. So excited to get her on. So let's put her on. I mean, I don't know if you want to share a little bit of your story of like, oh my gosh, when you and I met 3 years ago.
I was a hot mess disaster is what I was.
Not pulling any punches.
She's not, yeah, she's to be honest, that's what we do here. So what would you call a hot mess? Like, do you want to share a little bit about how you started or like what was going on for you?
Yeah, I had just left a 16-year on and off relationship with my ex-husband, who's an addict. He was in and out of prison. He's a narcissist. It was just a toxic train wreck. That was just the cycle that, we would break up and he would come back, and it was just the whole thing over and over and over again for 16 years. And I was a mess, and I did not want to go back again. I did not want to fall back into that cycle. And I was petrified that I was going to.
And that's when, and I remember you came to me, you said that, and then there were some like brief moments of like, well, let me call him, or, you know, because it was like, there was that pull, because they pull us, right? It's like that drama, and especially when we start like that trauma bond breaking it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Like, well, this is what I know. I've been doing this back and forth for all these years. I don't know who I am without this.
You get comfortable in the toxicity, and the fear. Like, that's like, I was comfortable in that. As crazy as that sounds.
Well, and we get comfortable with the discomfort.
Well, it's because very often we know.
Yeah.
And for 16 years, that's sure as heck what you know. It's definitely something that's ingrained.
Yeah, these patterns get ingrained, and they cause our thoughts and feelings to flow in the same direction. And, you know, that's for a lot of people the most difficult part about change is embracing the unknown. You know, people sometimes make a mistake of thinking like, well, if I do something a little bit differently, if I say this, or if I wait 5 seconds before responding or whatever. Like, I think the biggest part of this is a willingness to let go of your old self in order to make room for something new.
So what is the biggest, like, what's the biggest result? Now, you did the program, you know, you actually did it a few times, and every single time you had like an up level, like every single time. What are the biggest, you have a bunch, but like, what are some of the biggest results that you've had from working in the program?
Yeah, I think it started with that comfort zone, you know, being comfortable in all of that mess, and being so afraid of everything, of you know, trying to step ahead. So some of the things that that I think about, I went back to school. And I decided to go back to school during the first program. We were still in the program. I was 55 years old, and there was always wanted to be a social worker. That's just something I had always wanted to do. And I was a single mom for all those years, didn't have the money, didn't have the time. So here it is. You're talking about investing in yourself. Went ahead and signed back up for school, and I am this close to getting my bachelor's degree.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it.
And then my job, I was in a job for 10 years. I was getting bored. I was getting frustrated. There were some things going on in the office that I wasn't happy with. And here this position opened up in the same company, but it was complete, like accounting, public relations. Like, there's like nothing remotely, and I'd never done anything like public relations before. And I took the job, and I know without a doubt that I would not have had the confidence to do that had I not gone through the program and made so many changes. You know, I got my passport.
Did that job make more money? Like, I feel like not only did you really like it, but it actually made more money too.
Yes, and I'm allowed to be a little bit more creative. I get to write, which I love to do. I mean, they're press releases, but it's you know, it's not accounting. So, but
more fulfillment, more money.
And more you know, getting to know you, I was like, yeah, you're definitely much more into the writing. Like, you're such a good writer. So you were like, that talent was being lost in what you were doing before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and you actually, so Terry and I actually have also hung out. Yeah. So last year we actually gave the opportunity for people to go to Costa Rica for a women's retreat. And this was none of us knew that it was going to be right before a pandemic. And, you know, we got to go and hang out for a whole week in Costa Rica. So I hung out with Terry and some other wonderful ladies from the group. And what was your experience doing that? I mean, that was an intense week, and you had done the program 3 times, and then you came with us and did the Costa Rica retreat. What was that like for you?
Still more pushing of that comfort zone. You know, I pushed through some fears that I had. There were a few times I didn't think I was going to make it, you know, through whatever we were doing, the zip lining, the hiking, you know, it's just way above my comfort zone. But I did it.
What was the name of the guy? What was the name of the guy that you had to attach to? Because Terry was afraid of going down the zip line. Let me just tell you, like the hottest guy there happened to be, she was afraid.
Alejandro was his name.
I'm like, good one, Terry. That was good. I like that.
Pretty sure I was old enough to be his mother, though.
Still cute. You know, you were attached to him for a few of the rides down, which, you know.
No harm there.
Exactly. So what would you tell anyone that was like, you know, on the fence? They're like, you know, never invested in myself before. It's scary. I don't really know what to do. Is it going to actually help me? Is it possible for someone like me to see the changes that all these wonderful women have seen? Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah. And honestly, I was a little nervous about it too. You know, the cost was more, like you said before, you know, we always put ourselves last. It's always, you know, everybody else. And I just thought, you know, that's a lot for me, like, you know, but I knew I needed changes, and I knew I needed to do something completely different than I had been doing, because obviously what I was doing on my own was not working. So I decided that the changes that I wanted were worth the investment, you know? And I started seeing the changes right away, that the daily accountability within the inner circle, that, you know, it kept me focused. And I started to realize that all the love and all the energy that I was putting into this toxic mess for so long, I could now put into myself. And once I started doing that, things just started to change.
I love it. I love it. And that to me, I think that if you know, for people that work with us, when they get that moment of the release of that connection to these toxic people, and then all of a sudden it's like, I have all this energy. Like, what am I going to do with all this great energy I have? Did you notice that too?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Terry. Did you want to say anything else before we take you off?
You know, I want to tell people that, you know, for a lot of years, I really thought that my best years were behind me, and they're not. You know, I get to write the script for the rest of my life. I get to decide what my best life looks like, and I get to live it out, you know, without having to justify it to anybody, and without having to worry about what anybody else thinks, you know.
Sounds like freedom. Yeah, that's freedom.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Terry.
All right, everyone, let's give a round of applause for Terry.
Very cool. Always good to hear her
Oh
story.
my gosh. Yeah, Terry is a warrior woman, and the fact to just keep seeing her just soar is just so amazing to see. What were your thoughts on that? You know, again, we've known Terry now for a little while, and she's done some huge shifts for herself.
Yeah, and that's the incredible thing too for us to witness, because all of our clients are just tremendously powerful, worthy, caring people that have just had life kind of dump a bunch of crap on them. Mm-hmm. You know, this process is not even so much about becoming more or better than who you already are. It's really just about removing the obstacles to recognizing your true greatness. Mm-hmm. And that's so powerful, because when you get out of your own way and start claiming the life that you deserve, it feels like coming home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. So let's dive a little deeper, because Terry made a mention about investing. And so, you know, that's one of the things that people, especially when you've never invested in yourself, if you're someone who has always taken care of everybody else in the world, and, you know, I'll speak from myself. I grew up as the oldest sibling. I took care of everybody else. I was kind of the go-between my parents and my younger sisters. And I wanted to make sure that my parents were okay and my sisters were okay. And I was always the one that took care of everybody. So, you know, investing in myself felt difficult. You know, if somebody else needed money, sure. If somebody else needed to be picked up at 3 a.m, sure, I'd come get you. You know, but I didn't want to ask for other people to do that. I didn't want to put people out or make them feel uncomfortable, or, you know, take that money and invest in, you know, whatever I wanted to necessarily do. But I would have that for my significant other or other people that I love that were in my life. So here's a question for you. How do you invest in yourself? You know, let's kind of think about that together. How do you invest in yourself? Or maybe even like, how could you invest in yourself?
And by the way, we're not just talking about money, because let's face it, we all invest every single day. In fact, the most powerful currency that you can pay is attention, right? What do you invest your time and energy and attention on? All right, because we're not even talking about financial investments right off the bat. The reality is we all invest, we all spend our time and energy and attention on various things. Now, of course, the question becomes, what's our return on an investment? I'll leave that as a rhetorical question, because I'm willing to bet a lot of you were like, goose eggs.
Yeah. I mean, you're investing your life and time into a relationship that's not going anywhere.
Time, guys.
The biggest gift you can give someone is time, and we're giving it away like we've got extra.
And it was encouraging to hear from Terry too, how she thought for a long time that her best years were behind her. And a lot of us have reached that point where we've kind of given up. We've kind of, again, we convince ourselves that the little bit of comfort we get from the known, from settling, is going to be adequate, and that there really isn't a chance. Well, the good news is, as Terry can testify, that once you have the right guidance, support, and tools to rekindle your dreams, you can actually make them happen.
So what do we do by, so investing in ourselves? So we invest in education. Those of us who, whether it was like in high school or education after high school, we're investing there. We're investing in experiences, whatever those experiences are. And like we said already, time. Investing in exercise. How often are you exercising during the week? How much are you investing in your health? And I don't mean money wise. I mean like eating the healthy foods, getting enough sleep, not drinking too much alcohol, like all of those things. How are we investing in ourselves? How are we investing in gifts? Are we spending all of our money on everybody else and not having the ability to invest in ourselves? So here's another question that I have. How many of you have gotten all pumped and super excited? Like, so you've already heard 2 testimonials of amazing people who have done great things. How many people have gone all pumped and super excited and then not implemented? Like they didn't take action. Like, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, but then we don't do anything. Oh, I'm going to meal prep and didn't do anything. Oh, I'm going to plan a trip somewhere. Didn't do anything. Oh, I'm going to save money. Didn't do anything. Oh, I'm going to go back to school. Didn't take action. So what happens? Like, what happens when we don't take action right away? We get excited. It falls through. We lose the momentum. All of those things happen. So the idea is to take action. Everybody you just saw so far took action right away. They decided, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And they took action. Right before we came on, I was actually talking to one of our current clients, and, I asked permission before I am going to share her story. But, she came to us only a few weeks ago, and she came to us saying, and she had done other programs, same kind of story. And she came to us at a 2. So if you rate yourself 1 to 10, 10 being the best you could feel, she was rating herself a 2. She said she either felt numb or angry. Those were the 2 feelings that she had. She's in her 50s. She had severe abuse, like terrible abuse. I would cry, listen to some of the abuse that she had withstood. About 2 weeks ago, she'd been doing the work in the program. She was excited to share her first 9. Someone who was at a 2, who was numb to life, who couldn't feel the excitement and joy of life for most of her life. She never remembered having a good time. All those things we talked about earlier of what a wonderful, positive life you could possibly have. She had never experienced even one of those things. Every relationship had been terrible, had been abusive. And now here she was after a few weeks of working with us, sending us messages that her grandchildren were coming up to her and saying, Grandma, it's so good to not see you so angry anymore. Can I have some of that positive energy? She's sending pictures of trees because they look pretty, and learning how to swim and riding her bike. She's having people over for the first time in her life without her husband, who she's getting a divorce from, for 4th of July. She is not worried about people causing a scene or anything else. She's having people over for the first time in her 50s.
I bet this will be the first Independence Day she's really celebrated.
Seriously.
Freedom.
Seriously.
Freedom, guys. That's what this is.
So this is what we do. We take action. You know, it's actually interesting that she took action the last time we did something like this, a special. She took action on that, and look at where she is now. Imagine had she not decided to do that. You know, so you know this is the thing that's so important, is that being able to take action, taking the step, telling the universe like, hey, I am going to do whatever it takes to get to the next place. So what do we do? Like, how do we get to all these great things? And the cool thing is that luckily we teach you all those things. You know, we can support you all those things, but we can't make you do it. You know, when I was in codependent relationships, I could see the possibility in someone, and I would do everything to try to make them do the thing that I thought they could do. I don't do that anymore. Now I offer, and if this is what you're ready and willing to do, I can see where you're going. I can see the possibility of it. But I'm not here to tell you how you should and shouldn't live your life. If you want to continue on the way you're going, fine. But if you're looking for tools and you'd like to kind of change the trajectory, you know, again, you take action today, and that the direction you're going, which is, you know, off this way, you take that little bit of a slightly different turn and you go in a different direction, a completely different direction. You know, we were telling our inner circle clients a few weeks ago, a pilot is off course most of the time. The pilot doesn't turn around and say, I'm an awful pilot, I'm so terrible. The pilot talks to mission control. They tell them where they need to go. And the pilot says, oh, okay, I'm going the wrong way. Let me go the right way. Well, that's what we do as coaches. Hey, you're going the wrong way. Let's help you. If I took my brain and put it in your body, you would be able to shift your life. Your life would be completely changed if we could do a brainiotomy. We'll switch. We can't. But I can work with you, and I can use all the great things that I've learned to get to where I am, to being married to my best friend and having a life I'm excited to wake up to every day. Those are the things that I can share with you.
Yeah, and guys, sometimes you need a little bit of extra inspiration to motivate you to take the leap, right? What if I told you that all the fear that's been holding you back is your biggest obstacle? And actually, the kind of transformation we're talking about is not as difficult as you've made it out to be. You know, it's been said that our greatest fear is fear itself. Mm-hmm. And again, we hear it all the time. I mean, clients who've reported to us that they after working with us, shortly after working with us, they're waking up feeling excited about life for the first time in 50 years. 50 years is a long time, and quite enough time to feel like, okay, this is all there is. If you knew, and I can't overstate this, if you knew, guys, how close you are, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. If you knew how close you are to transforming your life, you would be jumping out of your seat right now. We see it all the time. It doesn't matter how long you've been suffering. It doesn't matter how many bad choices you've made. It doesn't matter how broken you think you are. You know what I mean? And someone said it earlier, it's sad that, being hurt changed us forever. Well, you know what? Being hurt has changed you up until now. Nobody said that you have to suffer forever. In fact, I love the expression, pain, guys, lean into this. Pain is natural. Suffering, however, is pain that we choose to hold on to. I might rub some of you the wrong way. I understand. It's a little bit of an abrasive statement. What do you mean? I'm responsible for my own happiness? Yeah. And don't worry. If you don't have a frame of reference to be able to understand what true happiness is, the peace of mind, the freedom, the independence, right? What you need to do is get a new circle. That's one of the greatest things about working with us is, and we love all of you in the 14,000 plus member large group. But when people come in, they say, I want to be around like-minded people that are looking to heal. The inner circle is where it's at.
Yeah. That's for the people who don't want to suffer anymore. They're tired of reading the books. They want to learn what tools they need to actually create their best life. And I really am excited to tell you all about the inner circle, like what we do and all that kind of stuff. But does anyone mind if I bring one more person on? We have this wonderful, now I'm gonna just do a little tee up of Donna. Donna used to live like 20 minutes away from me. So like, how weird is that? Like we were almost neighbors in the world of, social media. She lived not that far from me, but Donna had come to us and she was very unhappy. Things were not going well for her in her life. And I'm going to tell you that in the very beginning, she said, I will never do any video recordings. I won't go live. I won't do any of the things. And I'm going to show you a video right now of Donna, because what was really cool is that when we asked her if she could come on, it was literally at the last minute. I sent her a message and said, hey, do you mind coming on and doing an interview with us? And she was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I was like, wait, really? Are you sure? And she was like, yeah, no problem. Like, she didn't even think twice. That's the kind of level, like, it didn't matter to her. That fear of all those things were totally gone.
And this is absolute testimony and proof, guys, social proof that you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe.
Yeah. So, okay. So it looks like, let's give some likes and loves and get some claps. Woo! For our girl, Donna. All right, here we go, Donna. Where you were at before you joined the inner circle. And I feel like, again, you're just another story that I hear, and it's just like so inspirational to hear where you started and where you are now.
Well, when I first started, I was just very unhappy. I was unhappy with my life. I wasn't really sure why. I think one of my first major things with David with the Psyche was I couldn't even begin to explain my emotions, my feelings. I was just sort of disconnected from it all, like kind of numb. So we did this session. David kind of like talked me through it. I didn't even know, what to expect with the session. And it was very moving. I just started to feel a little bit of hope. It was sort of like I guess in the dark, if you think of a candle, and each day it grew a little bit more. Stephanie, you had said to me about my incomplete, and I went back, started searching a little more. And then David recommended a book, and I started reading the book, and I woke up one day and I was like, that's it. It kind of became very clear in what I needed to do to clear me. So, and everybody has a different story and different levels. But you guys were patient, and and you supported me, and I went to the lives, and I read the the units, and sometimes I didn't even know what I was looking for. But you guys coached me through it. You guided me through it. And so when I did my my clearing, I actually put ashes in the water of my abuser. And that day was such, it was a very windy day. I almost talked myself out of it, but I didn't. And it was such a peaceful feeling that came over me. And every day since then, it's been just, I don't know, the birds sound a little bit louder, the flowers are a little bit brighter. Life is happier. One of the other things when me and David had talked, he talked about the unconscious level, and that kind of really really made me stop and think, because then I started doing like a lot of the meditations where I wasn't just doing what the requirement sheets were. So when I started doing the meditations, I would even do them at night. And then I started to, my granddaughter asked me about them, and she did them. So now She comes, she does a sleepover, and she wants to listen to the music. She just calls it music. She doesn't realize it's meditation, but it helps her because she had some struggling things that she was going through, and it kind of really helped her kind of move through it, you know. So I'm very grateful for this program. I've grown quite a bit. You know, a lot of times I'll go for a walk and people will say to me, "Oh, who are you walking with?" Myself. And I'm very happy and content with that. You've taught me how to be my best friend.
Beautiful.
So it's, you know, it's very interesting. And I think that if people are thinking, when I signed up for the program, I didn't even know how I was paying for it. I just knew I needed to do something different. So thank you.
I love it. So like every time I see Donna talk about it, I'm just like she didn't know how she was going to invest in herself, and she did, because she knew that she didn't want to continue living the way she is. And I'm teary thinking about her granddaughter, who's now getting such a beautiful gift of learning self-care and learning meditation and seeing her grandmother really live at her best. What a gift that is.
Yeah, and you wouldn't tell by looking at Donna that she ever had any issues expressing herself or being in front of people.
Right?
She exudes a calm, confident peace of mind.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's priceless. We all do things ultimately because of how we perceive doing those things are going to make us feel.
Mm-hmm.
In my exploration and doing this work for over a decade, it's clear to me that what we really want is peace of mind. We make the mistake too often of feeling like it's a formulaic endeavor where we've got to say, you know, if this and that happens, then I'll be happy,
Yeah,
then I'll be whole, and I'll be peaceful. It's quite different. But when you shift to that level, when you become a peaceful person, it's not even that you need things to always fall in your lap and go perfectly. You're just much, much better able at handling whatever life throws at you.
Mm-hmm.
Then those obstacles, those roadblocks, those insurmountable, those walls, now they just become stepping stones to a life that's far greater than you've imagined yet.
So who's ready to get a sneak peek of what we do with our clients? You can take some notes. You know, this is a great opportunity to kind of like think for a second, and we're gonna tell you like literally what we do with our clients to get the amazing, massive results that we are getting. So if you are ready to hear what we do, just comment the word "I" in the comments so that we know that you are ready to kind of get that little sneak peek. Like we're looking in to see what we're doing. Yeah,
and I hope you guys lean in too, because it's one thing for us to, you know, sing our own praises, but when you have social proof, I mean, quite literally people talking about how dramatically their lives have transformed, you can't fake that, guys.
Well, and it's so beautiful too, because literally I can message any of our clients pretty much at any time, and they're more than happy to jump and talk about their great, wonderful experience. So, you know, it's just kind of cool to be able to have that. And again, people that would have never done that before, they're like, because like Donna, hey, you want to jump on a live? She's never done it before. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'm like, yes, like this is awesome.
And that's the passion that's born from real life experience of this transformation. It's the same reason that we do it. Mm-hmm. You see the passion, the excitement, the joy, the peace of mind in these people's eyes and in their words. We went through the exact same thing. Most people wouldn't guess by looking at the two of us that we've ever had any issues in relationships or anything like that. You know, so again, hopefully you guys
mess too. I was a hot mess for a while, and I know you were too. But we're not going to go into that now, because right now I want to really get the really good things for you to know what we do with our clients, because I think this is stuff that's beautiful.
Well, we got a lot of eyes on, so that's a good thing. So yeah, this is a peek behind the curtain, guys.
All right, so we're all ready to jump in. So here's what we do. So one of the things that we offer in our group is daily accountability. And we actually had one of our clients, their therapist said, I've never seen anyone do daily accountability with clients when it comes to healing from codependency. And I said, has she ever helped people heal from codependency? And she said, no. And I said, tell her to watch. And that client 2 months later was living in Hawaii by herself because it felt like a fun experience to do. She would have never thought she was going to do that before working with us. So just like a little bit of a glimpse. So daily accountability. So basically what happens is that every day you're going to share with us specific answers to questions that we have you look at every single day. You're going to tag David and myself, and we get to coach you. So remember I said before, if I could take my brain and put it in your body, there you go. We're going to be like your parents, but healthy versions. And you're going to get that male-female perspective, and you're going to get people that genuinely only care about you doing better for yourself, you really stepping in and creating your best life. And we're going to give you insight. So in that daily accountability, like something comes up, and so you have the daily accountability, specific things that you need to work on each day. But if something comes up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't have to wait till your next therapy session. You can just type about it in the group. And you tag David and myself. You get that instant, not only expert support, but you're also getting the support of other people who are also invested in healing and on a similar journey. So you get that camaraderie, that support, that community by being in the, I mean, we call it the family. The inner circle really is the family. So, you know, all of these things are all helpful. This really helps you to have that family and support to help you move forward.
And the powerful thing about the daily accountability is the ability to have daily access to professional coaches who've done this stuff. And remember, we talked before about the idea that you get what you think about on a regular basis. This is an opportunity to daily, for the course of the length of the course,
yep,
to actually get that daily course correction. If it's true that you get what you think about, whether you want it or not, this is an opportunity to hold yourself accountable and reap the rewards of focusing on the right things on a daily basis.
So if you're really looking to stop wasting time, then this part of the program is key, because you get really, really pinpoint focus on exactly what you need to do. And like I said, you might not know what to do to think differently, but if you have the ability to share what's going on, then we have the ability to coach and, like I said, course correct. So like that pilot who's constantly course correcting, we're here to help you. Mission control, we're going to help you course correct in the right direction every single day. So that's why 12 weeks we see growth so quickly. So does anyone feel like that would be helpful? Like if you had someone every day that was an expert in healing and creating healthy relationships, do you feel like that would be helpful for you? Just comment me in the comments. Like, is that something that you think would be helpful? And for some people, they might not want that. They might say, oh,
yeah. And for those of you who have therapists, ask them how much they charge for you to have daily access to them.
Yeah, seriously. And that's something to talk about too. As coaches, we're very directed towards helping you move forward, holding your hand, giving you the tools to help you move forward, to get you where we are. So like to actually hold your hand up, like shine the light and say, hey, these are the steps that we took. This is what our clients have taken to get you exactly where you need to be. With therapy, it's a little bit more focused backwards. And so it could be a great, combination together, but coaches and therapists do very different things. So I want to make sure people know the difference, because I think that's important for people to realize.
Huge distinction, yeah.
Now, the next part, so it seems like most people thought that would be really great. Okay, so the next part is core curriculum. For those of you who have been for higher education or even, high school, whatever education you've been in, you've had textbooks, right? So in the core curriculum, this is all modules like Rachel talked about, that's all related to healing from toxic relationships. So I was a teacher. I taught for 17 years. I have a double master's degree in health and education, plus like all my other things. But because of that, I wrote this curriculum based on what I knew worked, what I knew I needed, which was creating healthy boundaries, breaking trauma bonds, being able to deal with childhood trauma, being able to create healthy support systems, assertive communication, trusting your gut, basically all of the things that when we look at what we need to work on, this really gives you the real specific view of what you need to do step by step. And the cool thing about it is that it's completely go at your own pace. So, as you go through it, same thing, you tag David and myself and anything that you want us to look at. We can coach to anything that comes up. You feel stuck, you need more support, whatever it is, you tag us, bam, we're there to help you. Other people in the group might be there to help you. You might post something and they're like, oh my gosh, that happened to me. I hadn't thought about it. So core curriculum, and again, videos, writing assignments, reading assignments, all things related to getting healing from all different directions. So we're very holistic. So we really we want this to be the last program that you ever have.
It's very foundational and really a college level course when it comes down to it.
So how do people feel about that one? Do you feel like that would be helpful for you? Like, do you think that you could actually heal if you had that curriculum, like that step-by-step of, oh, I need to work on my, trauma bonds now. Now I need to work on my self-esteem. Now I need to work on my certification. Like, does that feel like that would help you get the results that you're looking for?
Yeah, and let's face it, when you've got a foundational core curriculum like this, the information, right, that fundamental knowledge that you need, it takes out the guesswork. So many people ask, like, well, what do I do next? And sometimes it's hard to make sense, like heads or tails of what, you know, what to do next, what direction to go in, what pieces of the puzzle am I missing? Well, not only having that core curriculum, but also the ability to get live real-time feedback on a daily basis, not only from our perspective and expertise and experience, but also the hive, right, the family, because you have the benefit of being able to multiply that positive effect by tapping into this community as well.
So it seems like most people feel like that would be really, really helpful. And so the third part, you know, there's three main parts. So the third part is that you also will get weekly coaching. So you're like, what we do here in the large group is informational. You know, we give a lot of information to the masses. In our inner circle, it is for people that are ready to invest and ready to take the steps. So they're ready to, they know it might be uncomfortable. They know that change takes work. And so we sit with them, you know, once a week for an hour. We do a live and we answer any questions that our current clients have. And we also teach or educate any places where people are having holes. Like if I'm noticing something in the group based on posts that are being made, those are specifically what we work on. So it's really geared towards the person who's in the inner circle. So to that client, to you, if you know decide to make that investment, you get that real individualized support by getting heard, you know. And if you can't make the live, not a big deal. You can always watch it as a recording. We have people from all over the world that join us in our inner circle. So there are people that never get to watch it live. They just watch it as a replay. My response would always be, watch it as if you're watching it live so that we can respond to your responses.
Absolutely.
All right. So how does that feel? Would that feel good to have like your own little mini live, so you don't have to share with everybody else in the group? You can just be the people in the inner circle and be able to ask questions as needed and be able to pick our brain in live stream mode. All right. So I'm seeing some people that it sounds amazing. Daily list would be great. So it sounds like for all of those things, is there anything that like sounds like that really stands out more than anything? Like what about those three things sound like it's the best for you? Any feelings about the best part of it? Or maybe some people are like, I just like it all. I want all of it. The cool thing is that we're doing some specials today. For Independence Day, we're doing some cool things.
Well, here's the thing too, guys. Like I said before, if you knew how close a new life was, you'd be jumping out of your skin. We already, and I admit, sometimes I take for granted the transformations that we're able to facilitate, because we see results like this all the time. And really our challenges as coaches and owners of a successful coaching company is, how do we get our message out in front of more people? How do we bridge that gap of disbelief? And look, we know a lot of you, just like we've been, are jaded. You know what I mean? In this day and age, there's so much that's clamoring for our attention that it can make it confusing and difficult to decide what direction to take. But, you know, again, like our whole reason for doing this, and a big part of why we're doing this Independence Day promotion, very apropos, is because we want to get this message out. We want to get the guidance, the support, and the tools available to you. So yeah, are we going to talk about the one-on-ones?
Oh, don't tell them too much too soon.
Well, I get excited.
Hold on. I know you're excited. Okay, so let me just review really quick to make sure we know what we're talking about. So weekly group coaching where you can ask questions, you can get them answered live, useful tools, new information that you can use to help people move forward. So very specific tools to help you move forward. Core principles. So like figuring out, like knowing the core things that people who have dealt with toxic relationships that want to build a new life free of toxic relationships, so that they are free from ever getting sucked into one of these other toxic relationships ever again. They're able to speak their mind, have assertive communication, all of those great things.
Really get to master the core principles, yeah.
And you get to share and celebrate with people who are on a similar like road as you are. And I think that's what's really cool too, is just being able to share, like in your personal life, you might not want to share what's really going on because you might be embarrassed. You might be in a place where you don't want other people to know what's really going on for you. So this is a place where nobody else knows your name. I mean, they know your name, but they don't know really, where you are in the world. So that you don't have to worry about that.
This is a hand-selected group.
Yeah, it's
and
a hand-selected.
We don't work with just anybody, just so you know.
We work with people that we know we can help. That's a big thing too. But the camaraderie in the group is like, again, everybody in there is looking to heal. Everybody in there is ready to take their lives to the next level. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that's fine. That's totally fine. So, and for those of you who are like, you know what, I'm not ready to heal, that's fine. So this isn't for you yet. And totally cool, totally understand. I'm going to recommend like going back to our trainings and going back there, because this next part isn't for you. This is for the people who are leaning in. They want to do the work. They want to hear all the exciting things that are going on. So we gave you the basic stuff so that so you can walk away knowing that you got great information out of this. But now this next part is for those of you who really are interested, and not just interested, but like you're ready to take the next step. So, I would love to be able to share this with all of you. So I'll give everybody a second or two that's not ready to continue. You can go off. But for the rest of you who are staying and who are interested in really committing to your new life and having the possibility of creating change, we would like to help today be the day that you decide to get your independence back, that you get to decide who you are. So everything that we just talked about in the program, that's all included in the program. Now, we're going to actually be giving some bonuses for the program, and that's what David started to allude to, but I didn't want to like give everything out too quickly. So one of the bonuses is that you're going to get my book and workbook. So it's a $30 value. Those of you who purchase the program, I will be sending that to you as a gift. It will be yours. So if you already have a copy, great. You can take this new copy and you can give it to one of your friends who probably needs it. Book and workbook included in the program. So $30 value, you're going to get that thrown in for free as part of the program. Bonus number 2, you're going to get not one Psych Case session, but 2 Psych Case sessions. Now, for those of you who you heard Rachel talk, you heard some of the other clients talk, testimonials, what David does is a high-speed mindset change called Psych K that helps you actually change at the subconscious level. So those areas of your life, of your thinking that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old to change, it's not possible for me, whatever it is, he will sit with you twice, just you and him. And people always say they love the sound, like he's so soothing to talk to. But you will get to talk just you and him and be able to really get down to figure out what it is that's really bothering you, that's keeping you stuck. And he's going to do what they call a Psych K balance to help you get unstuck. So you've now changed that subconscious belief. And every single time people have a session with him, there's a shift. So you're going to get 2 of those. That's included. That's a $500 value that you're going to get thrown in for free. Bonus number 3. So are we already excited? Because you already told you all the great things that are normally included. Now you're getting all these other bonuses. Bonus number 3 is a one-on-one video session with you and I. You and I will get to hang out for a full hour. It's normally a $200 per session. You're going to get that thrown in for free. We're going to look at your background. We're going to look at which direction you're going, give you specific homework assignments to focus on for you. And we're going to really connect the dots in ways you probably never had them connect before. So that's a $200 value. You're going to get that thrown in for free. And let's just throw in another bonus because it's Independence Day. We want you to really have all the tools. We're going to throw in access to our vaults. The trainings, hundreds of hours of trainings that we have done on helping people heal from unhealthy relationships. We're going to give you that link so that you can have all of those hours. It's more than 50 hours of pure gold. Like this is thousands of dollars worth of value. Can't even put a number on it because it's really literally like 50 hours times. It's really more than 50 hours and hours of free trainings. This is really gonna, level you up. So everything that we just included, all of those different bonuses, everything that we talked about tonight, the price of the entire program is $3,800 for the 12 weeks for your transformation into your new life. It's an investment into the new you. And now, of course, our clients, all of our clients get to hear about anything that we're doing in the future, any other programs that we do, any other retreats that we do. But here's the thing too, we're going to actually do a fast acting bonus. Should we do it?
100%.
Okay. So David,
this is also the stuff that gets me excited. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled to throw this in.
Yeah. So what, David, can you do that? can you get ready to put in the link?
Yep.
Okay. So what David's going to do is David is going to put in the link to purchase the program. So yeah, with the bonuses, everything we just talked about, it's $3,800 with what did I say? It was like $5,000 of bonuses included. So you're getting like pretty much $10,000 worth of stuff for $3,800. So David right now is going to put the link in the comments so that you can purchase. If you purchase the program before we end tonight, and we're gonna probably go a little bit more if you still want to hang out. But if you purchase before we end this video tonight, you're going to get access to our video course, lifetime access to our video course called From Codependent to Independent. You'll be there for all of the future upgrades that we have. You'll be in that community that's there. So that'll just be an extra add-on bonus for those of you who decide to do the fast action, because we said take action. Those of us who take action get results. Think about all the people that you've ever known that are successful. Those people take action. They feel the fear and do it anyway. And that's something you'll hear me say a lot in the inner circle. So feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You're leaning in, you're still here, you're excited about all the things that's going on. Do it before we're done with our live, and you're going to get the bonus of having that great codependent to independent course. So that's going to be yours. That's a $297 value. You're going to get that thrown in for free as a fast acting bonus. For those of you who get an extra gift for doing what you should be doing and taking action when you feel like you would like to take action. So for those of you who are doing that, I'm excited. I can't wait to, and once you make the payment, just put a comment in there that you're in, say I'm in, so that we know that you purchased, because I think that's going to be really exciting and get other people inspired and motivated too. Once you've made that purchase, you can type in the word I'm in. Now, for those of you who are like, I'm a little scared. I want to kind of look a little bit more. I want to think about it. Man, here's the thing. We're going to give you 24 hours. 24 hours from the time this ends. You'll get, if you sign up in the next 24 hours, you won't get that other bonus, the Codependent to Independent course, but you will get 2 Reiki sessions with you. We'll give you 2 Reiki sessions. If you don't know about Reiki, that's an energy healing. David is a Reiki master teacher for 13 years now. 15, yeah. 15 years. So, and you can do a distance. We don't have to be near you. You're able to actually get
comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
So yeah, Reiki, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a subtle, natural healing method that basically gets your body in the state that you'd be in if you were in a state of deep, restful sleep. Mm-hmm. It eliminates, it's actually particularly effective for stress relief and pain relief, and gets you in the state where a natural state of balance and healing happens.
So you're going to get that as a bonus. That's like $100 bonus. Or is it, no, how much do you charge now for sessions? $125. $125. Okay. So that's a pretty decent bonus. You're going to get that thrown in for free if you take action within 24 hours. And like I just saw, who was it? Suzanne said, no action equals no results. Yeah. If you never start going to the gym, you're not going to get fit like you want to. So same kind of thing. You take action now, you decide you're going to get that bonus within 24 hours. Now, for those of you who still, you're like, I got to figure it out, and you're taking your time a little bit more, then here's what's going to happen. You have until 4th of July, which is Sunday, at midnight Eastern Standard Time to make a decision. After that, all of the bonuses we just talked about go away. They all disappear because we are going to support people who take action. Those people who are going to do the things they need to do to create their best lives are going to get all of the good things that are included with it. So remember that those are things like taking action. The more quickly you take action, the better. So I am excited to see people signing up.
Well, we wanted to do something pretty radical to kind of shake things up and get your attention. Again, this is a different way of looking at things, a different way of thinking for a lot of people. And we talk about making the investment and again, the first thing you've got to decide is, are you worth it? And having come from a place of just severe chronic depression, and low self-esteem myself. That was a hard thing to wrap my head around. But the thing that's a challenge for me is it's hard to put into words to really describe adequately the quality of life, that I have now as a result of making the shifts. And these are the exact things now that we share in this program. You know, we've taken the guesswork out. We guide you through it. We're there with you the whole way. You have, again, like Steph said, we take a holistic approach. You know, and the bottom line is it gets results, and that's why we're so passionate about sharing this. So, you know, like we said, if you've been on the fence about making, you know, real change a reality for you, you know, you've ultimately got to answer to yourself. You know what I mean? And like I said earlier, as people, we change when we must change. Our biggest enemy sometimes is that little voice that says, "Oh no, just go back to sleep. It's really not that bad." How often, shoot, where were you on Independence Day a year ago? Were you celebrating your independence? Or were you like, oh, I get to drink and have some burgers and tune out for a little while? You know, what's going to make a difference? You know, and what are you waiting for, really, too? You know, there's one thing that I've learned is that change only and always happens right now. That's one thing that I recognized. I knew that if I was just going to wait for the stars to align, for things to be okay, for the weather to be, for the, you know, for me to have, you know, a ton of money in the bank account before I took action, I was just going to keep kicking the can down the road. And I decided that I must change, because the fear of winding up on my deathbed full of regrets about a life half lived at best was more painful than I could contemplate. So I took the leap. I took the leap of faith. I had faith in myself, and it was scary when I did it. But what I found is that the road rose up to meet me in new ways. And again, we see results like this all the time, even from people who've tried everything else. They've been in therapy for years, if not longer. Again, remarkable change can happen really quickly when you have the right guidance, support, and tools. And guys, this is what we're so passionate to bring to you.
Now, you know, and I'm already seeing people, some of those negative subconscious beliefs come in, right? Like, oh, I can't do that right now. We start talking about all these reasons why we can't. Danielle's like, well, how do you know if we're going to help? Well, Danielle, you and I have talked. We already know we can help you. So that's that sabotaging stuff that you're trying to think your way through it. So, you know, and here is the thing. Change is not comfortable. So I want you to take a second and take your arms and just normally cross them. Like, take your arms, cross them how you normally cross them. So like, I normally cross them like this. I put my right arm over my left arm. How do you cross yours? Like that. Okay. Now do it the other way. How does that? You can't even do it. How do we do it? It feels weird, right? Well, right?
That is unusual, right?
It feels weird because it's not what you normally do. It's out of your comfort zone. You don't normally invest in yourself. You normally invest in everybody else. You make excuses for why you can't invest in yourself, and your brain automatically wants to make excuses why you can't now, why you need to stay stuck, why you need to not make changes. That's what the brain automatically does. So I have a quote here from Robert Kiyosaki, so I'm going to just read it because I want to make sure I get it right. Robert Kiyosaki, who's this brilliant guy in the financial world, like he knows how
Robert
to make
Kiyosaki,
money.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You probably
probably heard that. Never say you cannot afford something. This is a poor man's attitude. Ask how to afford it. How you take the step and take action at putting yourself first. So if you want to do it, if you really do, then what is the step that you need to take? I mean, we've had people that have had amazing results, and they decided that in order to make this happen, they were going to put it on a credit card and they were going to drive Uber. We've had more than a few people do that. We actually now have a access to funds so that if you need to, like, you don't have a credit card and you want to be able to borrow money, we have the ability to get money for you as well that you can borrow. So there are options. You just have to decide that you're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Some people might be saying to themselves, all right, Stephanie, you know, is there a payment plan? Is there a payment option? So, I'm going to tell you that there is a payment option for those of you who are saying, and again, this is not something you normally put on a debit card. This is an investment. So like if your car broke down, if you needed a new television, a new washer and dryer, you'd get it, right? That's an investment. What are you investing in? So you have to invest in it. Most of the time people put something like this because they want to create their new future. They will put it on a card. They borrow money. So you put it on a card and then you can decide how you want to pay it. But for those of you who are like, I just don't really want to do that, then you can always put it on a payment plan. So we do have a 2-payment option and a 3-payment option. So for those of you who are like, hey, I can't do the $3,800 all up front, but I'd like to do the 2-payment plan or the 3-payment plan, that's a possibility as well. So if that's something that you're like, hey, I want to do the 2-payment plan, you can write down in the comments 2 payments. If you would like to do a 3-payment plan, just write in the comments 3-payment plan. And so you're going to get the opportunity. David will actually send you that link privately so that we can actually get that link and sign up and again, still take action on some of the bonuses within that 24 hours. So are there questions from anybody? I know we're actually a little bit over. I'm really excited about it. I know if there's no more questions, I might just kind of end with bringing the guests back on, or if there's some other questions, please ask us what's going on.
Yeah, and let me address a couple things I just noticed in the comments, right? Sharon says, this is so true, I don't like change. Imagine if you could change at a fundamental level and become a person who actually embraces change, who actually has a positive physiological response to challenge. Remember, this isn't just about getting a book of affirmations. We're talking about literally changing at a fundamental level. And I didn't get a chance to speak about this, but I'll say it briefly. Psych K as a method of high-speed mindset change is excellent for transforming habits on the one hand. Maybe you want to lose weight, quit smoking, whatever the case may be, and it works very well. But on the other end of the spectrum, it can be used to quite literally transform your personality. And I know when I say that, it might sound kind of weird. What do you mean, David? I've been this way since I was a little girl. I've always been this way. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I use the example of, if you, on a scale of 1 to 10, you've got level 5 problems, but you got a level 2 mindset, these problems are going to be big. They're going to shut you down every time. All right. Life is going to present you with challenges, right? When you level up your mindset from a 2 to an 8, now this stuff is still there. The problems are there, but you can leapfrog over them, right? Now it simply becomes something that you got to deal with. You'll be far more resilient to stress. So yeah, not liking change, you can become a person who actually embraces change and looks forward to it. What is the life like of a person who has that foundational belief? I bet you can tell it's a lot more fruitful.
So what we're going to do at this point, I know, obviously I'm very excited for all of you. We're going to take action and invest in yourself and actually be our next success story, because that's always what we get so excited about, is those next success stories. So as of right now, we're going to do a little drum roll, please. And then we are going to choose who is going to be the winner for the book and the workbook. So out of the participation, all the likes and loves and the comments and interaction and all that kind of stuff, we ready? And I'm going to totally say this name wrong, so I apologize. Alyssa Mengwesser. I don't know how to say your last name. Mengwesser. So Elisa, Elisa. Elisa, am I saying it right?
Well, I don't know, but
I don't know. Hopefully. So Elisa, you're going to send me a private message, and you're going to send me your mailing address so that I can ship you your book and your workbook. Congratulations. Let's all give Elisa a congratulations. Hopefully, Elisa, you're still here, because I want to make sure that you're there. Oh, good. Yeah. She's like, oh, that's me. Hello. Yeah, good job for staying on. I'm really excited for you. And if you decide that you are going to sign up, then you can tell us to gift that book to someone else, because there were other people that were also very active in this discussion. So let me know if you'd like to gift that to someone else when you sign up. But so how was this, everybody? And again, who's going to take action? Who is going to decide to make the rest of their life the best of life, and make this Independence Day the one that they will remember as the day they took not only their power back, but they actually started to create a life that they were excited to wake up to every day. You know, I think back to those times when I was depressed, when I was with my toxic relationship, when I was afraid to go home because I didn't know how I was going to behave. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be doing these trainings, that I would be a professional married to my best friend who helps other women create their best lives, I wouldn't have believed you. I was slightly afraid of women because I had to deal with some issues with my own mother. I had only experienced toxic relationships. And then I made a decision to do whatever it took. And I invested in myself. That's how I got here. So I know all too well how it is to be scared and on the fence and be wondering like what to do. Well, I'm going to tell you that right now, not doing anything is going to keep you where you are. The only way is to move forward. So here is I didn't get to see what's up. So here's your opportunity. Jump on it. Like I said, if you need the payment plan, just comment 2 or 3, depending on which payment plan you need in order to get you signed up. David, can you just put that link again in the comments for anyone who missed it to make sure, you know, again, anyone who signs up before we close in just a minute or 2, you're going to get the wonderful bonus of the course from codependent to independent. And for those of you who sign up within 24 hours, you're going to get the Reiki sessions.
So I want to address this too, because we intended to have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. Elise actually asked, is Psyche like hypnosis? Similar, but hypnosis assumes, it makes the presumption that the change you want to make is necessarily the best one for you. You can go to a hypnotist, hypnotherapist and say, I want to erase this symptom. They'll say, no problem, swing the pendulum, do the process. And the hypnosis can be very effective. Psyche is different because it includes what we call a permission and commitment protocol. It's almost a safety measure built in. The reason is because Psyche acknowledges, like I alluded to earlier, that the challenges in our lives very often have lessons to teach us. That's really just it. And we don't want to kill the messenger, so to speak, right? Because if you don't get the lesson and just erase the symptom, life will come back around like that proverbial 2x4 and whack you. So there is what we call a permission and commitment protocol within Psyche that ensures that the change you want to make is actually in your best and highest interest. It's something that's, in my opinion, dramatically different from hypnosis. And it really is a way to make sure that this isn't just erasing symptoms, but it's actually healing you at a deep level, not just mentally and emotionally, but physically, right? Because you're broadcasting a different frequency of information, and the cells in your body eavesdrop on your inner dialogue. So when you shift that inner dialogue, it's transformational, but it makes sure the changes you want to make are actually in alignment with your path of evolution, and that you actually can gain insights from those challenges in life. And the beautiful thing is, once you get the lesson, the teacher, AKA all that crap that's been hitting you in the head, disappears. It goes away. You don't need it anymore.
So here, I'm going to leave you with this is, you could spend a whole bunch more time trying to figure it out on your own. And how much time do any of us have? Keep trying to figure it out. Keep trying to do the things that you don't really know what to do. Keep guessing. It's like poking around in the dark. You can keep trying to do that. Or you can make a decision to get the right support from experts who do this every single day. And we can help you get to where you want to be. So, again, you get to decide today, right now, am I going to do what it takes to create the life that I want and invest not only money, but time into myself to create that? If there's that little piece of you that thinks maybe change is possible, even if it's just that little glimmer, that's all I had. When I left my ex-husband, I had that little glimmer of hope that maybe things could get better. And that glimmer brought me to this moment where I am with all of you right now. And that's what we want for all of you, to be able to experience life at its fullest and be excited to have that adventure, to be inspired by your best friend, to be able to wake up every day and just be like breathe in the excitement and have that veil, that heaviness lifted off of the darkness where so many of us feel trapped in. So jump on this opportunity, whether it's the 1 pay, 2 pay, or 3 pay, jump on the opportunity, figure out how to make it happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave you with a final little session with some of our, like a bunch of our clients that all came on together. So we're going to end there. But I can't wait for one of you that decided to take action today to be our next success story in the future. So congratulations to those of you who are signing up. Again, you have until the midnight of 4th of July or Independence Day to decide that today is the day you decide to take your life back. So thank you, everybody. We're going to leave you with a little hanging out with some of our great people. And thank you so much for tuning in. And never forget, you are way stronger than you realize. And Michelle G said, this is to Rachel. She says, I loved how you said you realized your worth and value. What specifically helped you realize it?
So I really do contribute it to my Psych case session with David. You know, it was something that I wanted to target, and I really focused on that. So yeah, I mean, I think definitely doing the Psych case session, because I told myself many times before that I had value, and until that subconscious was able to kind of get through it really, you know, I had a hard time actually believing it. I just kept telling myself, but until I did the Psych case session. So hopefully that helps answer your question.